Hi, thanks for joining us for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. I'm Chris Cooper. Gardens don't have to stop at plants. Today we're talking about goats. Also, we're talking about plants that look good in the garden and in cut arrangements. That's just ahead on the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South.
Production funding for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South is provided by the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to the Family Plot. I'm Chris Cooper. Joining me today is Jeff Terry. Jeff is the farm manager here at Bobby Lanier Farm Park in Germantown, Tennessee, and Mary Hine will be joining us later. All right, Mr. Jeff, thank you for inviting us out.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out.
We got goats.
We do. We have finally got goats here on the farm.
How about that?
Got 4 of them.
Okay.
And this is thanks to a friend, Julie Lindow, with Shady Creek Farms. She donated these goats. We've got Jasmine here.
Jasmine.
We've got Blondie over there. That's Pepper.
All right.
And
Leo.
Leo is right here.
Leo's hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. He's hamming it up now. So
how about a little brief, information, a little basic information about goats to get us started?
Okay. Well, they're one of the first domesticated animals that's ever been. I mean, we're talking 11,000 years ago, and it was the beginning of all this kind of domestication.
Okay.
Ever since then, they've been well, in the United States, they were brought over probably around the time of the Mayflower. We've got goats just all over the place.
Okay. Yeah, so let's talk about their eyes and their teeth and their stomachs. How about that?
Okay. So they have rectangular eyes, which are kind of cool. But what it does, they're a prey animal, so they need good peripheral vision.
Okay.
And the flat eyes, the rectangle eyes, give them about 340-degree peripheral.
How about that?
And they can see basically everything up to right behind them.
Wow.
Which is kind of cool.
Wow.
Their teeth, and they're chewing on your shirt right
teeth,
there.
Yeah,
they only have one set of bottom teeth, and then and just on the top they have no teeth whatsoever.
Okay.
This allows their lips on the top to grab thorny bushes and things like that, and they're sort of almost prehensile lips at the top.
How about that?
Yeah.
And what about their stomachs?
The stomach, they're a ruminid, so they have 4 stomachs, so that allows them to eat very fibrous stuff, so hay, things like that. One of their favorite foods, again, is Bermuda hay. They love to do that. And what they do is, consume the hay that goes into their first, into the rumen, which is their first stomach.
Okay.
That breaks down all of the fatty acids that can be consumed. Then it goes into the reticulum, which is sort of it's called the honeycomb.
Okay.
And what that does is grind up the fibrous materials. Then it's pushed on to the omasum, which is then that extracts water from the grains or from the grasses, and so they don't need as much water as well. They could be in arid climates and not have to worry about that. And then it's finally into their true stomach. And then after finally it goes through all those stages.
How about that?
Yes.
That's just so interesting. Yeah. What about the different breeds?
Well, what we have here are this one is a La Mancha goat.
Okay.
They were first introduced, or at least came into registered as a breed in about 1927 out in California.
Okay.
And they have small ears. They're called elf ears. Or gopher ears, and these are not docked ears. This is the way they were meant to be.
Oh wow!
And the theory is that they came from Spanish missionaries that probably came out of the South into California back in the 1600s with a goat that was very similar. It had, again, gopher ears like that.
Okay.
So that was probably the progenitor for these goats.
Okay.
For this breed of goat. Then we have the dwarf Nigerians, and they're all over the place here. And they were brought into the United States about 1950, and from West Africa.
Okay, not too long ago. Okay.
And these are really great. The La Manchas are great milking goats. They have a higher butterfat content and just good producers. The Nigerians are good too. These are boys, of course. We don't milk them.
Okay.
And these guys are actually weathered. They have been fixed.
Okay.
because one thing you don't want to have is a male goat anywhere near your milking stations. They will foul, there's probably nothing smellier than a male goat. They are absolutely the smelliest thing
Oh my gosh.
on the planet. So early on we had them fixed, and it makes them also a little bit more calm. The
Okay.
boys tend to, if they go into a rut every so often, they really have a shorter lifespan.
Okay.
They will live about, they'll only live 8 to 10 years if
That's
they go
all.
into a rut every year. So with fixing them as well, it makes them mellow, it makes them real just calm, a little bit more docile, and also makes them live longer.
Okay.
Which all of these will probably live anywhere from 11 to 16 years
11 to
even.
16 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially with the milking goats, we're not going to really do high production with these girls. It'll probably just be for a little while, and then if you stop milking them by 10 years, they'll live for another. They could live up to 16 years. So
Wow,
yeah.
interesting stuff. Look, so somebody's probably wondering, can I have goats in Shelby County?
Well, that is a good question. From what I have read, you can have a goat as long as you're not within 1,000 feet of another residence or business.
Right.
That's kind of hard
That's
to come
gonna
up
be
with.
hard.
We
Yeah, that's
have it
gonna be
here
hard.
at the farm
Yeah.
park. We're not anywhere near anybody at
Okay.
this, at this stage. And but I did read where if you could get a permit from the Shelby County Health Department.
Okay.
I have not been able to get in touch with them to confirm that. I really want to tell anybody in Shelby County to try to get in touch and see if that's possible. Before you even consider a goat, make sure that it's possible in your area. As far as Fayette County or Tipton County, any of these places out further away,
rural
I
areas.
doubt that there's even an issue at all. You could probably have as many goats as you care to.
Okay. So how do you house the goats here?
Well, here we have, during the summertime, they stay in this little building here, and it's just sort of a three-walled shed, and it's got hardware cloth inside. And actually, it was a chicken coop, but
I
it
can see
really
that.
worked out. The goats have taken it over, and they've enjoyed staying out here during the warm weather. But then we also have a stall in the barn that we bring them in when it gets cold.
Okay.
And then I can heat it just a little bit and at least keep them from being in the absolute cold. Goats can weather a lot of, the only thing they don't like is rain.
Yeah, it's interesting when you told us that earlier. They don't like the rain.
They do not like rain. It just bothers them to know. I can barely get them into the barn when it starts raining. They don't want to leave any kind of cover, and when they come out, they're just like hunkered down and they absolutely hate the rain.
They just don't want to get wet.
Yeah,
Oh
they
my
really
gosh.
don't.
All right. Well, look, I want to ask you a couple of questions
Sure.
about goat milk and goat meat.
Oh yes. Goat milk is fantastic. It's goats.
and I've had it before, yeah.
It is. It's really good. It's it's naturally homogenized,
Okay.
so it doesn't separate out. Lactose intolerant people can drink goat's milk as
Good,
well.
good.
It is one of the. It's probably the most consumed milk and meat on the planet. There are more goats consumed than cattle.
Really?
Without question.
not know
Yeah,
that. Did not know
not
that.
necessarily in the United States,
Right,
but all the rest
right,
of the
right,
world.
sure.
They're definitely one of the most consumed animals. And they're great. I've had goat meat before, not these.
Yeah,
never
not
never
these.
these.
Yeah, yeah,
These are
yeah.
my babies
Yeah,
here. So,
yeah.
but it's really good. And goat milk raw, of course. We have to be careful with this. There's a two sides of the fence on that one where raw milk is no problem, and then the other side of homogenizing, or at least heating up the milk.
yeah.
And it's kind of around here that we call it moonshine. It's sort of like it's sort of on you can't have it just yet. So
How about that? I was in Italy, some years ago, and a lot of the milk that we drank was goat milk.
Oh yeah, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
amazed at that.
Yeah, yeah.
How about that?
It is fantastic. It's very, very good.
All right. But yeah, we appreciate that good information about goats.
you.
We appreciate y'all babies. for
Thanks a
hanging in there
lot.
with us.
And they've been waiting.
And they've been waiting. Yeah,
They've been waiting
Give them the
very
snack. It's
as
raisins,
patient
right?
as they could. Raisins.
Raisins.
Their favorite treat. So if
Oh,
anybody's
how about
coming
that?
out to the farm park, bring some raisins.
Bring some raisins. Come on
And,
out here to the farm park, y'all. Feed them the raisins. Thanks a lot.
Thank
We appreciate
you.
that, Jeff. There are a number of gardening events going on in the next couple of weeks. Here are just a few that might interest you. All right, Miss Mary, we have some beautiful flowers on the table. What are we gonna do?
We're going to talk about plants that you can grow, either house plants or outside plants, that would supplement your flower arrangements. These are things that I like to grow, and I had to learn this by trial and error, because when I started doing flower arranging, when you go to like Kroger or something, they'll give you those little scrawny things that are the greenery, the fern. You know, it's just not anything real great. So these kind of plants you can use and make a green arrangement, totally green, or you could put them as a supplement to your flowers. But to have them in the house and ready to go, that's the best thing to do.
Are they easy to grow?
Yeah, most of them are shade plants, outside shade. A lot of them are house plants that I always put outside in the summer, put them on the north porch. And they do really well. Then I have to take them in the fall, but I enjoy them. They're there for me to cut and use all the time. Okay, you want me to get started?
Let's go ahead and get started.
What I thought I'd do was take each one, and then I'll place it in a, this is a container with wet foam. You use wet foam for fresh flowers, and it's different from dry foam. Wet foam, you soak, you get it wet, and then your flowers will stay fresh for a week or more. I'm going to start with an alocasia. This is a beautiful plant.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. It's very strong and kind of upright and stubborn. You can also cut these in a design, like, if you wanted to do something interesting, just put it faces you. You can cut things. You can cut them in half. Just make sure your design really prettier than just the regular look to it.
Play with it. Okay.
Now some of them I'm going to face to the side. I might do a L-shaped flower arrangement.
So do you already have this in your mind when you're arranging flowers?
No.
Okay, so it just
I just go with it. This is a Aspidistra, and they come in many varieties. Some of them are thin. I like the speckled ones or the variegated ones. And it's a very straight flower, and it would be a good line flower, meaning it sets your stage for the other things that'll go around it. So it's called like a line flower. Another thing you can do with this is I have put a wire, taped it on the back. I used I think it's probably a 10 gauge wire. It's a little tough, but it bends very easily. And I just taped it with some clear foil tape. And then you can bend it whichever way you want to. If you want your arrangement to do something different or move in a different way, then you can do it like that.
How about that?
And you can also curl it and split it. Here I've put it, put the end of this, pulled it down and pierced it with the very end of the plant, and I cut it with a knife and split it up. So now it looks like a whole different plant.
Yeah, it looks totally different.
Now this is, of course, it's a caladium. These did real well for me this year. And I like to kind of nest them inside each other, large to small. And then you have a slight grouping of them, and they'll look good to add, or just add them to your flower arrangement on the sides. Let them hang down the side. And actually, it's called breaking the lip of your container.
Breaking the lip. Never heard that.
This is your lip.
Okay. Breaking the lip.
And this is a Thatsia.
Yeah.
These are nice pressed or spray painted, different colors. But if your flower will go down like this, then you're breaking the lip of it.
Okay.
I like these. This is called a leopard plant. They come in variegated variety also, and they get very large. Mine are not large. Something ate half of them.
Uh-oh.
But then they came back,
came back?
so I was thrilled they came back.
We need to find out what's eating that now, Miss Mary.
It's probably squirrels
Uh-huh.
or chipmunks. Have a lot of chipmunks.
Okay.
Now this is equisetum, and it's a good line material also. And what I have done with this one is inserted a wire down here, and then you can bend it because the wire's in there. You can bend it every which way you want to, and it will stay. I put the wire down, then I use the clear tape again.
Is it easy to get the
no.
wire through there?
Yeah, it is, because
just push
this
it?
is has little resistance. It's
Okay.
some, but it's certainly not like a bamboo.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
it's easy enough to do, and you can have all kinds of shapes to it. Do multiple ones. Have some come and make a design out of that. Of course, the mother-in-law's
the
tongue.
mother-in-law's tongue, huh?
Yeah, I like these because they can be very, very colorful. You can get them in speckled and all kinds of colors to them. And they're a good line plant also. Of course, you put probably multiple ones. The stronger line you wanted. This one is pretty thin.
Okay.
Solomon seal.
Yeah, like that.
It's great, and you see, it bends and makes a nice flow to your design. Certainly, you could put it one on each side of your pot, of your flowers, your vase.
I could tell you've done this a lot, because you're
Yeah.
just grabbing, different foliage. This can
You get a
bend, this can
feel.
do this.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can get
I
a
got
feel for it after a while.
you. Okay.
Now, every yard should have some grasses,
Yeah.
especially this time of year.
Beautiful
They
this
are
time of year.
great to use in arrangements. Usually group them. This is zebra grass, fountain grass, and you could rubber band them together or wire them together and use them in mass.
Look at that.
Yeah, it just gives this lovely flow to it. Another thing that I love is this papyrus.
I love the leaves.
Yeah, see, and you can, when you pick them, they'll have various stages of opening up, and you could stage them that way in your arrangement.
Gotcha.
One,
Your arrangement is really coming to life.
sometimes
Good.
it'll turn out really well,
Ah,
and
that's
that's
good.
all you need. Don't even need the flowers. And then you have a smaller one that's just opening up in the various colors of green.
Okay.
I mean, green on green is pretty to me.
And while
This
you're
is-
grabbing that, let's talk about your tools. I mean, you
Okay.
good sharp tools.
Yeah, these are nice. These are sharp, very sharp scissors. And the stronger stems, you need a heavier one.
All right.
This is a form of philodendron. It's called burgundy. Look, has different color on each
Look
side.
at the stem, though. Golly, okay.
And so you could use, one side and then the other side, and it makes a nice background for something. I like we need some ferns, some kind of ferns. Some of them condition better, which means you would cut your flowers, make a clean angular cut, put it in water. Sometimes I put alum in there. It's a spice for pickling.
That works?
Yeah, especially hydrangeas.
Okay.
It will really keep your
I didn't
hydrangeas.
know that before. All right.
And I learned that from Rick Pudwell at
Okay. Yeah, you learn so
Botanic.
much. Yeah, just
just hanging around there. Now this is just an autumn fern. It stays well. It stays conditioned quite well. And then the Kimberly Queen is those huge ones that you see on front porches, and it will last a long time. So not all ferns are going to stay fresh a long time, but some will. I'm going to make him lean that way.
well, Ms. Mary, while you're doing that, we do appreciate this flower arrangement demonstration. This
Thank
is
you.
nice. It's really come to life, though.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
yeah. It's a little jungle.
It's a little jungle. All from your yard.
Yep.
From your garden.
Yep.
How about that? Thank you much. We
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thank you. What we're looking at here is powdery mildew on these beautiful zinnias. We had early spring rains during the cool part of the season, followed by a summer that was hot and humid. Anytime you have those conditions, you're going to have this powdery mildew, especially if your plants are crowded like this because they're not getting good airspace. A couple of things you could do. One, resistant varieties will always help. Two, you can use a fungicide. I would go with a copper-based fungicide. And the third thing you would need to do, if these leaves happen to fall off, practice good sanitation, because these leaves will still contain these fungal spores. And if you water, or Mother Nature waters for you, those spores will splash up and they'll get on the other leaves as well. So again, a good copper-based fungicide, resistant varieties, practice good sanitation. It is time for our Q&A segment. We have with us Mr. Booker T. Lee,
Glad to
who's
be
an
here.
extension agent right here in Shelby County, and Miss Mary, of course, our master gardener, right? Y'all ready? These are good questions.
Ready?
All right. Here's our first viewer email. Is there a way I can prevent plant bolting? All right. So, Mr. Booker, what do you think about that? They want to prevent the plants from bolting.
Well, when you
Can you do
prevent that, now a lot of times when you allow your cool season crop, they will do that sometimes. Especially when they start growing and start getting real hot.
Yeah.
They begin to bolt instead of they kind of growing too fast.
Right.
Meaning they got out of the environment, and you do that. The only way you can prevent that is you can try to harvest more often. Yeah, try to harvest fast to keep from doing that, and also you can keep from being under stress. If a lot of times it's under stress, a lot of times you start doing that. But he can just start trying to harvest it more, and make sure that it stay kind of cool.
Right.
If you can do that, but the weather can't all change that. No, it'll get them out the ground early.
That's right. And it's usually, like you said, the cool season, crops.
Yeah,
for the most part. Yeah, but if you can pinch off those flowers too.
Flowers, pinch those flowers off them before you start doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough on those cool season
I
plants.
just see a lot of things doing that too. A lot of plants do that sometimes. Better on cool season crop.
Yeah. Long, hot,
Hot days. Yeah, and they get in the garden too long.
All right. Here's our next viewer email. Like I said, we're going to get out the way, okay? I'm going to read this. We could just get on out the way because we have our turf guy here.
All right.
It's
good.
October. Is
October.
it too late to apply a nitrogen fertilizer to my lawn? I have zoysia. And this is Mike from Bartlett. So we'll just sit back.
Okay.
We'll let the
Let
turf
the
guy
man
handle
talk.
that. There you go.
Okay, yeah, no, we in October now, you know,
Okay.
and zoysia grass, that's a warm season grass.
All right,
It getting ready to go dormant right now. You don't want to add any nitrogen fertilizer to it this time of the year.
Okay.
Now, if you want to add anything to it like phosphorus and potassium, and that based on a soil test, make sure that you don't give it no nitrogen fertilizer now, because you don't want to give it no extra growth. And we come and have a cold winter come in early, and it damage the grass. And they should be wondering why my zoysia not coming out really good and not doing anything because you gave that nitrogen fertilizer too late.
All right, there you have it, Mike, from our turf guy himself, right? Here's our next viewer email. What are these bugs? There are thousands on my green beans and okra plants. I've been using Dawn and water, but they keep coming back. They have started freaking me out. They don't bite, but they are getting all over me when trying to pick my vegetables. And this is Betty from Jonesboro, Arkansas. Hi, Miss Betty. I looked at this book as well. Kudzu bugs.
Yeah.
Kudzu bugs.
Yeah.
You know, of course, they like legumes.
They don't plant,
She did say green beans.
the okra and all that, yeah.
Yeah, soybean,
Soybean, they like
bean.
giving it, yeah. In there, so yeah, what does it like on that plant there?
That's what it looked like to me. And I tell you what, this time of the year, guess what they're looking to do? Overwinter inside.
Inside, yeah.
Right. So any cracks or crevices you have in your house, they're gonna be looking to
yeah.
come in to hang out for the
For the winter, yeah.
Right. So, but as far as controlling them, if you can knock them into a dish,
something like that, yeah.
of some soapy water, warm soapy water, you can do that. That's the organic means to doing it. Just knock them in
Knock
that
them off there, yeah.
dish, that way. But if you want to use, some of your chemicals, I mean, there are some that are out there.
Yeah,
Anything that contains bifenthrin
use that
would
one
work. Permethrin would work as well, and cyfluthrin is another one that you can use. But read the label,
Read the label on it,
on
yeah.
those. I don't know if I would use those necessarily. I would probably go the route of just knocking them off.
Knock 'em off there,
for
yeah.
the
They're
most part.
kind of big looking, weren't they?
Yeah, they're pretty good size.
Nice
yeah,
size.
No
they're
wonder
good
it
size.
freaked her out. I wouldn't want them on me either.
Yeah, they're pretty good size. But yeah, I've seen them, cover a side of a house you know, in the wintertime, because they're trying to get in. You know, of course they're looking where the sun is, you know, so they can warm up a little bit. But yeah, that's why they're looking to get inside.
Get inside, yeah.
Yeah, so they can overwinter where it's nice and
Like
comfortable.
Nice,
Mice
cool,
and-
warm. Yeah.
That's why I want to overwinter. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anything else you want to add to that?
No, that's about it there. No, yeah, that we'll try to over in the winter time, get into your house and everything, so like that.
Right,
So
right.
they want to find a warm place.
Right. And the thing about the kudzu bug is, you know, we used to see them in agronomic crops and soybean fields.
Yeah, soybean
So
fields.
now they're coming over to the home garden.
Yeah, they
And again, they like, you know, anything in the legume family. If they just get rid of kudzu, we'd be fine.
Yeah.
They are kudzu bugs. They're not eating enough kudzu. There's plenty of that stuff
a
going
lot
on.
of times farmers spraying their crops and everything, trying
Right.
to move away, so that's what they're doing there.
Right.
See them doing.
Yeah, so they're moving over, yeah. Yeah, vegetable gardens,
garden,
home gardens and things like that. All right, so Mr. Booker, Miss Mary, it's been fun.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
I enjoyed
Thank you
it.
much. Remember, we love to hear from you. Send us an email or letter. The email address is familyplot@wkno.org, and the mailing address is Family Plot, 7151 Cherry Farms Road, Cordova, Tennessee 38016. Or you can go online to familyplotgarden.com. That's all we have time for today. Thanks for joining us. If you want more information on growing the plants Mary talked about or raising goats, head on over to familyplotgarden.com. Be sure to join us next week for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. Be safe.